Hello, my name is Scott Armentrout, and this is my Sustainability and Survivability presentation for Buy Memphis Now. In this presentation, we will cover a brief description of Buy Memphis Now, my interview subject, Kurt Davis, the importance of having a sustainability and survivability plan, some of the things that Mr. Davis got right, some areas that Buy Memphis Now can improve upon, a brief conclusion, and I'll take any questions that you may have. Buy Memphis Now is a turnkey real estate investing firm that operates in Memphis, Tennessee. The company specializes in the acquisition, rehabilitation, and management of real estate properties for clients around the globe. It was founded by Craig Jennings. Additional key members of Buy Memphis Now team include Kurt Davis, the Director of Sales and Marketing, and Martha Roth, the Operations Manager. My interviewee for this project is Kurt Davis. Kurt Davis is originally from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He joined the Buy Memphis Now team in 2012 and currently serves as the company's Director of Sales and Marketing. Mr. Davis is a real estate investor and a licensed realtor with over 12 years of experience in the Memphis market and has 30 residential properties in his own portfolio. Additionally, Kurt Davis serves on the board of directors for the Memphis Investors Group. He has developed a real estate investment coaching program and hosts a real estate investment podcast. The importance of a survivability and sustainability plan can't be stressed enough. There are many challenges that face entrepreneurs as they start and grow their businesses. Any one of these challenges could contribute to the failure of a small business. Good entrepreneurs recognize the potential for specific hazards and develop contingency plans to mitigate those hazards. Creating a survivability and sustainability plan in conjunction with a solid business plan can help support ongoing operations and growth as the business moves forward. I interviewed Kurt Davis on the 17th of June 2019. During that interview, I asked Mr. Davis a series of questions concerning the survivability and sustainability of his company. It was clear that Mr. Davis had considered some of these areas previously and offered plans that I feel should be maintained. Mr. Davis identified economic downturns like the real estate crash of 2008 as opportunities rather than challenges. When property values drop, real estate investment firms like Buy Memphis Now can acquire several properties at a discount. I believe that Buy Memphis Now should maintain this strategy of buying discounted properties during economic downturns so long as they make financial sense to the company. Mr. Davis believes that the small size of the company is an advantage when it comes to the loss of key personnel. As stated in the company description previously, there are really only 3 key employees to the company. Mr. Davis stated that each of these employees already wears many hats and would be capable of covering the loss of an employee. When possible, I believe Mr. Davis and his team should use the current staff to cover the loss of key personnel until a replacement can be hired. A loss of financing could greatly impact a company. Buy Memphis Now currently sources its financing from private lenders and personal capital. Mr. Davis stated that the multiple streams of financing cover him from loss because no one stream would affect the company too greatly. The practice of maintaining several sources of financing should be maintained and continued well into the future. Mr. Davis feels that the greatest impact to his business in terms of financing is how the lending industry impacts his clients. Higher interest rates typically mean clients aren't buying as many properties. For this reason, Buy Memphis Now employs a strategy of buying and holding rental properties, collecting the rents until interest rates fall and the clients return. Mr. Davis had a strong understanding of how best to protect his business from legal woes. He is proactive in his efforts to stave off legal problems. His company operates as a legal entity that offers some protection. He also ensures that employees are licensed within the state and that all contracts are legal. When necessary, Mr. Davis consults with a lawyer on legal matters. After doing my own research, I've found that the areas of economic downturn, key employee losses, natural disasters, and internet and computer system failures were areas where Mr. Davis could use some additional improvement. While the real estate investment industry is a little less risky than some others, there are some steps that can be taken to protect Kurt's business from suffering losses during economic downturns. Budgeting for hard times can help his business be better prepared. Mr. Davis would be wise to ensure his company has an emergency fund that can keep his business afloat for at least 1 year. A cost benefit analysis that keeps expenses in check would be a wise part of his budgeting process as well. The need for affordable accommodation will still exist during recession. Kurt can protect himself and the company against loss during recession by acquiring only properties that cash flow positively despite being offered at below median rent rates. This will keep vacancy rates low even during economic ups and downs. Kurt stated that he and other employees would have to take up the slack created by the loss of any key employee. While this may work until someone new can be hired to replace this employee, it assumes that other employees possess the skills needed to take over those tasks. If it is determined that an employee has special skill set that cannot be replaced by existing staff, a key person insurance policy can be taken out on that person, with the company being named as the beneficiary of the policy. Mr. Davis saw no way to prepare for losses attributed to a major flood. I view this as a major concern considering that Memphis lies directly on the Mississippi River. Commercial business insurance typically doesn't protect against losses from flooding. If Kurt were to purchase a commercial flood insurance, he could protect his investments against a catastrophic flood. The Federal Emergency Management Administration also points out that low interest loans are available through the Small Business Administration for businesses affected by natural disasters. Some feel that there are businesses that are too large to fail. Kurt felt that his business was too small to be affected by prolonged internet outages and computer system failures. His answer was to resort to phone calls and traditional mail as a means of communication. Something for Mr. Davis to consider is the potential of data loss due to breach. By using secure and regularly changing passwords, he can reduce the risk of breach. Downtime is another concern. Preventing downtime due to server failures can be mitigated by choosing an offsite server. Many hosting providers have multiple data centers. Having multiple data centers means that when one fails, another will take over. This will prevent downtime. Much like key personnel insurance and flood insurance, a business insurance policy that covers the loss of equipment associated with theft, vandalism, and natural disasters is important. This insurance policy could give Kurt and his coworkers peace of mind. Such an insurance policy would allow for the rapid replacement of office equipment. Kurt Davis had some general ideas about protecting his business, but there was room for improvement. There were some areas with minimal effort that Mr. Davis could have found additional levels of protection against loss. Computer and internet service failures and natural disasters presented the largest areas for potential improvement. Having a solid insurance policy to cover against losses looks to be very valuable. Mr. Davis Mr. Davis's business looks to be in good shape going forward, but by implementing some of the contingency plans identified, he can improve his chances of sustainability well into the future. At this time, I'll take any questions.